for the Perkins Engineering team will at least fly the flag for them. Set for a full race restart now. Kent Yulden has got to do it all again. Good start by Daryl Kuhn. Alan Holgerson again gets away to a ripper.
Yeah, this time it's a lot more even off the start line, but you can see once again the Daryl Kuhn car is able to leap out in front. That slightly difference in the weight. Scott Loadsman is right in amongst this front running group at this time, and it looks like Alan Holgerson in there as well, taking up fourth place.
First of the Holdens is Scott Loadsman in third position, just ahead of Holgerson. Rob Chadwick is up there as well. Lap 1 of 5, bear in mind this is a complete restart after that big rollover for Jim McKinnon. Rick Bates coming through in the little Daihatsu Syrian. We jump aboard with John McElroy looking back at Rob Chadwick.
Yeah, great racer Chadwick. He's a tough customer in this particular category as well. On the little Magna, I tell you what, it's like the Camry. It's a very, very strong performer. Great vision out of the back of McElroy's car. You can see the car bouncing a little bit under brakes. Looks like Winston back there. No, Chadwick's coming in there, and Winston's right behind them now in this group. Some
improvement in terms of the horsepower in the new Magna, the new 3.5 litre. So Chadwick perhaps even better poised this season.
Yeah, this car is quite impressive. As I said, just like the Toyota Camry, it's got that little bit of extra horsepower this year, and we're looking at the back of a V8 Falcon here, and you can see the difference between the two cars is negligible. So great performance by both vehicles, and you can see that Daryl Kuhn now is actually pulling out a little bit of a lead from Luke Yulden at the front of the field. See a tough battle between the little four-cylinder cars here. There's always enormous battle, and look at this little car of Rick Bates as it comes flying around the circuit, almost going up on two wheels.
Yep, Nigel Williams in behind him as well in the MyCar Proton Satria. But that's an interesting point you make, Steve, because we should reinforce that to the people watching. There are different classes in action here.
Yeah, and you'll see that become evident as the race progresses. The three classes and the three class races in this field become very evident as the race progresses. You'll see Daryl Kuhn is always the exception to that rule because he's a Class D car out in front of the Class C cars, but you'll see the Class C cars shortly all running together and they'll be all over each other.
McElroy being hounded by Rob Chadwick as they come down the front straight here at Phillip Island. Damien White, talk us through this.
I'll talk you through this. I'm selling my Ford and getting a Magna. I'm very surprised at the speed that has down the straight, and with...
He's got him too. Chadwick has got him, so that's a good move. He set him up as they came out of that final turn, didn't he?
Well, he was protecting the turn one from the start of the straight, which seems bizarre, but Chadwick's on a mission here.
He's now pressuring Holgerson. Look at that, up ahead of him. So Holgerson is in fourth, keep that in mind, and just ahead of him is Scott Loadsman in the V8 Commodore, but this is an impressive effort from the Mitsubishi Magna, and he's climbed a couple of positions, Chadwick, since the commencement of this race.
Both the V6s in the Camry and the Magna are very similar in size, so these cars should run fairly hard together. Chadwick does look as though he's got a bit of an advantage here. That could be a tyre advantage or just this car suiting this track better a little.
Could be either of those things, Steve, but I actually put it down to the fact that Holgerson's gone out pretty hard. In fact, has he got a problem here? He's slowed dramatically, but I think that he's gone out hard in this race early and probably cooked his tyres, I'd suggest, and the Magna's just been conserving, cruising around, and now we see the advances that he's able to make on the other guys.
Well, these two are in a neck-and-neck battle here as they work up toward the hay shed at the back of the Phillip Island track.
Greg, to cut you off there, but through there in any type of car, I mean, they're not the quickest things to go around this track, but that's a fast section of the track, and to go side by side, like, that's pretty brave.
Well, Holgerson has managed to hold out Chadwick. Over the hill they come in towards MG Corner, and McElroy now starting to put a lot of pressure on Chadwick, and Winston has to go as well. So Richard Winston really making a move, gets it all sideways and cross up, and contact with McElroy. But McElroy manages to hang on to the position.
Brian Carr in that group as well, Rusty, and making for some tough racing between these three guys. These are all V8 cars, of course, the V8 Falcons and the V8 Commodore in amongst there, and it's a great race between these three guys.
I think those three guys should get a ute each. I mean, they're doing exactly the right thing. They're hanging the back out and they're banging panels. I think they should be out there with us.
Winston now having a run at John McElroy. He really sized him up here at the beginning of the Wayne Gardner main straight. Got lots of speed on as he came through there, and it's paid big dividends. So Winston moves up a position. Oh, dramas for Rick Bates in the Daihatsu Syrian. The right back wheel has parted company with the car, and that's a shame because he has been going strongly, particularly at the opening round at Wakefield Park.
I tell you what, he's this guy is very talented, just like his brother. They're an incredible talent. Looks like we're going to go back to a replay of this incident, just coming through the very tight situation between McElroy and Winston. What a close. Oh, he's lost it sideways, almost touched the car. Then they come out and they actually do touch here, and Brian Carr sitting back there saying, now guys, sort of that because I want to get through here and get past you guys.
Well, McElroy sensed the situation and actually went off the edge of the circuit, but when he came back on, he was sort of left with nowhere to go. Kalezidis here, pressuring in the battle for Class E. Just up ahead of him, young Luke Yulden who has been re-signed by the Larry Perkins engineering team to compete at both the Queensland 500 and at Bathurst in the Castrol Commodore. He'll drive the second car. Larry and Russell drive the main one. It's an impressive performance from him here at the moment in the battle for Class E. He's holding out Kozzy Kalazidis, who we know is so strong in this class.
Yeah, this little Proton is an incredible little motor car, but so is the Holden Astro. Rusty, these two cars are very, very competitive, and I'll tell you what, driven by these two young guys, they're enormous talent, and it's a great race between. This is what I was saying a little earlier on. You'll see the Class E battle start to emerge in this race, and I'll tell you what, the spectators at the tracks are just loving this battle between these little cars, and of course there's so many of these vehicles on the road today that it's a great performance example of what you're buying.
Kalazidis has got a good run here, and Yulden trying to fend him off.
Trying to break the slipstream there, and Phillip Island, with the wind coming up off the water, breaking the draft is a good idea, because if you're behind, you can carry 10 or 15 kilometres an hour more coming down into turn 1.
Great family representation too in terms of the Yuldens. Young Luke leading Class E, and his father Kent is running second outright in this race at the moment. This is the battle a little bit further back. Richard Winston trying to hold off John McElroy.
And of course, Winston is in the 5-litre SS Commodore, so the competition between these two cars is extremely close. Of course, the whole field is waiting on the debut of the new SS 5.7-litre Holden Commodore, which will certainly throw a spanner in the works for the Class C competitors, but it makes it very good competition right where we are now with 5-litre cars. These cars have both got the same capacity engines in both Ford and Holden.
You can see Brian Carr having a go here as well at John McElroy. Question for you, Damien, how different is the sedan to drive versus your V8 Ford Ute?
There's nothing like a Ford V8 Brute, mate. I can tell you that I haven't driven a Ford production sedan before, so I couldn't give you an honest appraisal there, but watching these guys come out of that corner before, the way the backside's hanging out, I've got to say that maybe these things are a lot like a Ute.
Well, you take your eye off the screen for 1 second, and we've had a change of position here up in front. Kent Yulden has gotten around Daryl Kern, isn't he, clearing out?
He's flying down Main Street here at Phillip Island and doing a wonderful job. Daryl Kuhn not too far behind, I'd say about 100 metres behind him now. This has been a race of great challenge between these two competitors so far, and Kent has now got himself into the front. It looks like he's actually streaking away a little bit, Rusty.
Keep in mind too that Kent is driving an XR8, Daryl Kuhn is in an XR6, so a little bit of difference between the two cars in terms of power, and Yulden's Coffee Ford entry doing exceptionally well at the moment. This is the battle for third position. Scott Loadsman and Alan Holgerson engaged in a thrilling contest. Just in behind them is Rob Chadwick, who has dropped off the pace a little bit. He was up there arguing with Holgerson before. Now Kalazidis throwing out a challenge to Luke Yulden. Much closer now. He was about a car length behind him when we last caught up with these two.
You can actually see now too, guys, that the tyres are starting to get a little bit squirrely on these cars, Damien, so that obviously creates a little bit more of a complication to drive from this point on.
Makes it a lot harder, and a lot of people put the strategy to practice in that they'll just cruise around for the first few laps and then work hard in the last half of the race. Kalazidis is doing a good job, although I think that Yulden probably hold him off.
Kent Yulden up in front in race 1 here in round 2 of the Century Batteries Australian GT Production Car Championship. First of 2 races at this circuit. The fast and flowing Phillip Island layout, and the Victorian has really got it well and truly sussed in his Coffee Ford XR8. Second to Daryl Kuhn. Great battle for third still Holgerson in the Toyota Camry. This is quite a well sorted car. Remember, this car has won its class in the championship before. Holgerson acquired it during the off season and has really settled into it very comfortably, but Yulden will take this one out. He comes onto the front straight for the final time in the XR8 and will do it comfortably. Kuhn throwing out a last lap challenge, but it won't be enough. Congratulations, Kent Yulden takes it out for the Coffee Ford team. Daryl Kuhn, who's had an impeccable record, home in second.
Yeah, great race, and a good race between these two guys too. You can see that Scotty Loadsman was playing the defensive line there with Holgerson right behind him, and we'll see McElroy just in front of Carr for 4th and 5th place, I think.
Photo finish there, wasn't it, between those two? Jump aboard. Look at the leaning going on here between Luke Yulden and Kozzy Kalazidis. At the moment, Yulden has got it as they come onto the front straight. This is the final turn, the Wayne Gardner main straight. Look at that. The petrol cap's open on Yulden's car. Has he got enough in the tank? Oh no, Kalazidis has thrown out a real run here, and he will get there. Kozzy Kalazidis will take out the class in the final turn. Can you believe that?
It was a great job by Kalazidis. I think Yulden was a bit worried about the old over-under treatment from Kalazidis, but he hung on there on the outside and it paid off for him.
Well, let's recap the positions for you. At the end of the race, Kent Yulden, your winner from Daryl Kuhn, reigning champion in D class. Scott Loadsman third. Alan Holgerson, a good effort in fourth. Then it was Chadwick, McElroy and Brian Carr. Boy, that was like a horse race, those two. A photo finish. Kozzy Kalazidis takes out Class E by the narrowest of margins over Luke Yulden. And unfortunate luck for Rick Bates, that wheel parting company, he was further down the order. All right.